Okay, so in this problem, we are going to look at actually solving a quadratic by completing a square. So this is when we have a quadratic that is not a perfect square and cannot be solved right now by taking the square root. We need to do a little bit of work until we can turn this into a perfect square binomial. So remember, in order to complete the square, we just want to have our x squared plus bx on the left-hand side of the equal sign by itself. So the first step is to isolate that part by whatever operation you have to do. In this case, it is subtracting 5 from both sides. So in this case, we're going to get x squared minus 18x, and that whole thing is going to be equal to negative 5. Now you'll see I always, when I'm completing the square and I do this step, I always leave a little bit of room on after my bx term, because I know I'm going to be adding my c value to this in order to turn this into a complete square trinomial. The next step is to figure out what c is going to be that I need to add. So what value I need for c in order to add this to both sides. And you'll remember from previous examples here, we know that c is just b over 2 squared. In this case, we get 9 over, or I'm sorry, 18, had that wrong, 18 over 2 squared. And I was thinking ahead right here. We just get that that's equal to 18 over 2 is 9, so we just get 9 squared that we're adding to each side. So in this case, we are just adding 81 to both sides. So negative 5 plus 81. Okay, so already we're making some good progress here. We have figured out what to add to turn this into a quadratic trinomial, and we've been maintaining equality here by doing the same operation to both sides. Now we need to go ahead and factor this. So here we know that b is negative, so here we're going to be subtracting, and if you remember, it's just subtracting b over 2. So here we're just going to be subtracting 9, and that gives us our perfect square trinomial. That's squared. So we get x minus 9 squared equals negative 5 plus 81 is just 76. So we get x minus 9 squared equals 76. Now I'm going to go ahead and continue down here just to get more room. So right down here. So we're going to go ahead and take the square root of both sides now. So we get the square root of x minus 9 squared, and we are taking the square root of 76. So what we get now, after we've taken the square root of both sides, remember the radical and the exponent cancel, and we're left with x minus 9, and that's equal to, remember, we always account for the positive and negative sign of radical 76. Okay, now you need to go ahead and simplify this radical right here. So that's something we did last time. So I'll let you go back and review one of the other videos if you forgot how to simplify a radical. But what we're going to do is we need to go ahead and get x by itself. So this ends up being, we need to add 9 to both sides. So ends up is 9 plus or minus. Now what we get, we can simplify this. we get that 76 is just 4 times 19. So what we're going to get when you split this up into 4 times 19, the square root of 4 is 2, and then we have radical 19. We cannot simplify radical 19 any further, so we just get 9 plus 2 radical 19, 9 minus 2 radical 19. Now, in my class, it's okay to leave this as 9 plus or minus 2 radical 19. On the online homework, if it's asking for 2 different answers, you would just put 9 plus 2 radical 19 for one answer and 9 minus 2 radical 19 for the other answer. So that's how to solve equations by completing the square.